Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a refreshing lunch and are ready for another inspiring session. We will now begin our next plenary session. It is my privilege to invite our moderator, Dr. Kuldeep Kaur, to the stage. She will be introducing our speaker, Dr. Nur Saktiningrum M. Hum. Dr. Kuldeep, the stage is yours.
Very good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I know you have enjoyed your lunch and people are slowly coming in. Maybe you're feeling tired, but it's okay. This is the last plenary session for this IRoLe 2025 conference. So first of all, I would like to welcome you all to this plenary session. And my name is Dr. Kuldeep, as mentioned by the MCs, our handsome and beautiful MC, and I will be your moderator for this session, as they have stated. It's my great honor and pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Nur Sakti, a distinguished lecturer at the Faculty of Cultural Sciences, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Dr. Sakti teaches in the English Study Program and the American Studies Graduate Program, where she brings her expertise in literature, culture, intercultural studies to inspire and guide her students. Seems to be a very interesting topic that you're going to be listening to this afternoon. A little bit of biodata of Dr. Sakti. Her academic journey began with her thesis and dissertation on religion and religiosity in literature, which became the foundation for her research adventures. Over the years, her work has expanded to focus on American literature and culture, while also making important contributions to the promotion of Indonesian culture on both national and international platforms. I'm sure you're all waiting a little bit more of her background, right? Dr. Nur has been an active voice in the scholarly community, presenting papers at numerous national and international conferences, publishing articles and book chapters on American and English literature, culture, and intercultural dialogue. She also currently serves in an important leadership role as the Vice Dean of Academic and Student Affairs at the Faculty of Cultural Sciences at this university, and now this is her second term. Today, she will be delivering her keynote address on this very timely topic, as you can see on the screen. Oh, it's not here, sorry. Okay, all right. The significance of intercultural communication among Universitas Gadjah Mada students, a case for curriculum integration. So ICC here, of course, means the ability to communicate effectively and appropriately in various cultural contexts. So in this presentation, Dr. Sakti will share insights into how intercultural communication has become an essential skill for creating inclusive learning environments, particularly in a multicultural university like UGM. So this is a case study of UGM. She will draw upon foundational theories such as Bennett's DMIS, Byram's ICC, and so on, to show how intercultural learning can foster empathy, adaptability, cultural intelligence, and global competence among students. She will also highlight practical steps that UGM is taking, such as credit-bearing courses, seminars, and experiential learning opportunities to embed intercultural communication into the curriculum. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, scholar, researcher, and academic leader, Dr. Nur Sakti. A round of applause. Dr. Sakti, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kuldip, for such a generous introductions. And then it made me question, is that me or somebody else's? Yeah, so I was not sure about that. But thank you very much anyway. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, it is truly an honor for me to stand before you here this afternoon to share with you my little bit of my thought on the significance of intercultural communications among Universitas Gadjah Mada students, a case for curriculum integrations. Before I begin, please allow me to extend a bit of clarifications that I would not stand before you here because I am an expert on intercultural communication theory. So I try to use a different kind of perspective. What I will share with you today is primarily based on not on academic theorizations, but rather on my professional journey. For about 8.5 years, I was assigned as the Vice Dean for Academic and also Student Affairs. So during that post, I have been directly involved in the challenges and opportunities and also the realities that has to be faced by both students and also lecturers in a very highly diverse academic environment. Is it that from this experience, I observe how students from multiple regions, culture, and also background, they try to interact at their best and then collaborate, and sometimes, and many times, they have to struggle in our university setting in a class which is very dynamic and also multicultural. So I began to see that the intercultural communication skill is very important for this student to be a successful learner in Universitas Gadjah Mada. So my thought today is a kind of reflection. It is an argument grounded in practice rather than theory. I kind of try to find the bridge between the administrative experience with the academic dialogue. So I hope that there will be some of you who are more expert in the theory and then can help to understand or maybe try to determine which step that should be taken after that. Now, I'm going to invite you by seeing these inevitable facts about Indonesia. Indonesia itself is a nation of extraordinary diversity. We have more than 17,000 islands. Before I start this afternoon session, I tried to count like how many islands I have already visited. And unfortunately, it's only 8 of them. So I still have so many thousand islands to explore, or probably with you as well, yeah? And then we have about 720 local languages. Some people consider it's only 600. Well, other are stand as a dialect or things like that. But these are the informations that I got. And then right now, Indonesia consists of 38 provinces from Sabang to Merauke. So many of them that I lost count. I could not remember what they are. It used to be only 27. We can just remember like that, but now it keeps growing. So which one is the newest? We need to check the history record, I think. Beside that, we also have 600 ethnic groups, or some people consider it's more than that because they consider some part of it, like Java, for example. Some people consider it's only one ethnic group, but some other people would consider, oh, it's different with Sundanese and then East Java and things like that. So there are many different informations over that. And also we have 6 officially recognized religions, plus some of the belief system that are not recognizable by the government, but it's there in our society. Okay, these are actually the origin of UGM, probably 55,000 students and more, plus those who come from abroad. Now, how about in Universitas Gadjah Mada? As a national university, Universitas Gadjah Mada accept all students coming from all of these different backgrounds. So we never do some exclusions, but moreover, instead of excluding some of them, we try to invite students, even coming from very remote place, to be studying in Universitas Gadjah Mada. So this means in the classroom, in Universitas Gadjah Mada classroom, it's a kind of microcosm of Indonesia, where the richness and complexity of cultural difference meet in the daily basis of the academic life. Now let's try to see only one batch of the student. This year, in 2025, UGM welcomed about 10,634 students coming from many different cultural backgrounds. More than 6,000 of them are female students, more than 4,000 of them are male. This alone can create misunderstandings in the communications. And also, we have 37 provinces as well as foreign students. You remember that in the beginning, we have the information that Indonesia consists of 38, and there is one province left that we haven't got the student. This is the newest province in Papua. When I tried to find the reason why we haven't accepted any student from that part of Indonesia, it turned out that it's more like the administration's thing rather than, more nationalistic reason or things like that. So don't worry about that. And then another important thing to be noted down is that all of the students were actually divided into 9 levels of tuition category, which means there are 9 different of economic and social background. This sometimes will give or will create some differences that can hinder or maybe can be the obstacles in the successful of learning process in classes. Okay, so when we can see that UGM as multicultural environment, we know that it can be seen from both sides. It can be a challenge, communications challenge on campus, but at the same time, we can also consider that this is another opportunity for intercultural learning. I would start the argument that intercultural communication skills in UGM should be considered as a challenge and also opportunity. When students were accepted to study in Gadjah Mada University, what they have in mind is that they want to be a successful learner. They want to finish their 4-year study successfully. But when they have some different background on cultural, religion, region, language, and so forth, sometimes these things can be the obstacles for them to be successful learners. Now, I would like to highlight the importance of intercultural communication skill in enhance student success in learning process. Okay. Now, developing intercultural communication skill equips students with the ability to engage effectively across cultural boundaries, fostering not only academic growth, but also individual, personal, and also professional development. First, we can see that intercultural communication skill can encourage students to have this open-mindedness and critical thinking as well. When students learn to understand and respect culture of different culture, they broaden their perspective, challenge assumption, and develop a more approach to knowledge. This openness strengthens their analytical and also reflective skill, making them more successful learners. Second, such skill, intercultural communication skills, also enhance collaborative learning. By mastering intercultural communication, students can engage in a meaningful dialogue, not only talking to each other, but meaningful dialogue. They can work effectively in multicultural group, resolve misunderstanding, and at the end, these abilities foster deeper comprehension on the course material and also improve problem-solving skills. Third, intercultural competence also support language and communications proficiency, which are crucial in assessing and processing knowledge. Students who can adapt their communication styles are better at interpreting diverse sources, articulating ideas clearly, and also participating actively in discussion. This is actually a core element to be a successful learner. Fourth, students with intercultural communication skill will be better prepared for their future career in more globalized world. Okay. So therefore, I would say that intercultural communication skill are not an option. Yeah. This is not an optional soft skill, but this is an essential academic competency. By fostering open-mindedness, collaborations, communications, and adaptability, this skill directly enhances students' ability to success in the learning process and also beyond. How many of you are actually students of Sekolah Vokasi? Raise your hands. Okay, many of you. When you were accepted in Sekolah Vokasi, what is your priority? What is your main target? To find boyfriend, girlfriend? That's probably to finish your study. Yeah, in what? In how long? For how long? How many years would you? 4 years. Okay, that should be okay because all the teachers here in front of you have already think very carefully how can my student finish in 4 years, no more than that, gitu ya. But UGM said that, oh well, if you can finish in 4, then you can finish in 4.5. Yeah, but the first thing that come to your mind is that you need to finish your study as soon as possible. What I mean by as soon as possible is 4 years. So if you come and have all of this differences in your background, in your cultural background. So sometimes you find some obstacles when you have to finish your assignment, your task, for example. So this is one of the reasons why I try to make the argument that intercultural communication skill is necessary, and therefore it needs to be looked at very seriously, and if it is possible, then it should be put into the curriculum. Now, let me once again underline the argument. Intercultural communication is essential for fostering understanding, collaborations, and inclusiveness in a multicultural university setting. So therefore, it should be integrated formally into UGM curriculum. The next question is how? How are we going to integrate this intercultural communication? Should it be taught as one standalone course? Yeah, there will be another course entitled, or the title of the course would be Intercultural Communications, or like the one that is proposed in the previous session. I attend the parallel session, and one of the parallel session, she delivered a speech, the importance of intercultural communication in a classes for English for specific purposes. Yeah. So if that is the case, that means the intercultural communication should be embedded in classes. In the past, we are familiar with the term hidden curriculum. So this is still a working question. Should it be one standalone course, or should it be embedded in classes? In order to find the perfect model for that, I would like to invite you to see Byram's model of intercultural communications. If we are going to give this intercultural communications to our students, what are the things that they need to know? There are 4 different spectrum, I guess, from here that we can see. First, the knowledge, and then the skill, and then the process of these educations, and then at the end, this is something that can be considered as the result, is the change of attitude. Now, by the word knowledge here, Byram considered that the student still needs to know what is culture, what is his or her own culture, for example, and also the culture that the other students in the class have or has it as a background. And then the other thing that needs to also recognize is the skill in intercultural communications. And then after that, the Byram consider if this student master all of these 4 different spectrum, then at the end, hopefully, the student would have a much better attitude. Yeah. And then what about the knowledge? Let's try to see each of the spectrum here. What kind of knowledge that we should give to our students to be able to have this intercultural communication skills successfully taught to them, and also at the end will improve their attitude. First is about culture. This probably needs to be looked upon very carefully, because sometimes we take for granted that the students know who they are. But sometimes it is not the case. Like, for example, some 4 weeks ago, when Universitas Gadjah Mada started the process of student entrance courses, they do have this material to make them understand about different culture that they would find in UGM, for example. But unfortunately, about the second day, just the second day, I got the call from the academic hospital. They considered that Bu Sakti, one of your new students, were accepted at the Rumah Sakit Academic. And then I rushed to go there and then try to talk to her for a long time. And it seems that from the talking, she doesn't have any problem. She keeps saying that I was overwhelmed with all of the new things that I found only in 2 days. She knows she comes from less fortunate background, and in the previous study, she considered that her friends, treat her differently. So when she was actually accepted in Universitas Gadjah Mada, and as a matter of fact, she was actually studying the PPSMB here in Sekolah Vokasi. And she was overwhelmed with the idea that everyone welcomed her. She was never been judged. She tried to adjust, but because there are so many new things coming at the same time, so she could not process that. So that's why she was broke down. But Alhamdulillah, after 2 days resting, she can join the process with no problem at all. So sometimes this is necessary for us to make the student understand that, when we try to communicate with other, our cultural background has something to do with that. And it goes the same with other people. Maybe the way they communicate with us is different, not like the one that we expected, but because they have different cultural background. The identity that the student have needs to be taught to them as well. At least we have these informations for them that cultural identity is shaped by both cultural and also personal factor. And they form through the interaction and social, also individual elements. So all of these things, culture, identity, communication styles, and also cultural intelligence can be part of the knowledge that we will give to the students in intercultural communication skills. Now let's try to move still using this Byram model of intercultural communications. We try to see what are the skills in intercultural communications that the students need to master. Let me borrow this model. In this one, there are at least 4 different skills that the students need to master to be able to be a good and successful learner. First is empathy. Second one is adaptability. The third one is active listening. And then the fourth one is cultural awareness. So when we try to reflect our curriculum, the development of Universitas Gadjah Mada curriculum, we also come across to the class of cross-cultural understanding or multiculturalism. But we haven't find, or at least there is no such a name, such a class or course entitled Intercultural Communications. Maybe more than just naming, we try to understand that what we thought right now in our student concerning the multiculturalism and also cross-cultural understanding, if we might try to see our material, we would agree that usually this teaches the student up to the cultural awareness, make them aware that there are many cultures outside their own cultures. There are so many differences that is, outside their background. Let's say cultural background, or maybe religious, or maybe regions, as well as others. But by knowing all of these 4 skills, the students come to the cultural awareness. That is usually what is taught in cross-cultural understanding. But with intercultural communications, we expect students to go beyond this awareness, that is, to change their attitude. Yeah. After they understand that there are also so many different cultures outside themselves, and they know that they also needs to be respected and valued as well as their own culture, and hopefully at the end their attitude will change. And if their attitude changes, it will help them to be a good or successful learners. In Byron models, we consider that the last target is the attitude, and also we can see from this one as well. Sorry, has it changed? Okay. So hopefully when there is some changes in the attitude, there will be move from ethnocentrism. They focus on their own self, their own culture, their own background. But at the end, we hope that the student can move into ethno-relativism, where they understand that they need, to respect, to value other culture as well as their own. Now, the question is, whether in Universitas Gadjah Mada, those kind of knowledge, skills, and also the expectations of change of attitude hasn't been integrated in the curriculum. Well, actually, like I have already told you before, if we look for the name intercultural communication, we would not find that in our curriculum. But the skills, the knowledge about other culture, the awareness of the importance of respecting other people from different background is already there. Even in the PPSMB or in the compulsory or mandatory courses like KKN, the student service, for example, or MKWK, this is the compulsory courses in the curriculum where any students has to take these compulsory courses. The skill has already been there, but the thing is they are not actually taught specifically to rouse student awareness, and then at the end to ask students to show that their awareness has somehow internalized in themselves, and therefore they have a new attitude at the end. Well, there was some trials, but it hasn't been very successful up until today. That is the establishment of MKWK. MKWK, for friends from UTM, probably I need to tell you a little bit. This is the compulsory courses, consists of 4 different classes. Each of them was 2 credits. And at the beginning of this establishment, this is actually have a very ideal target. That is to create only one assignment for those 4 different classes. And if this ideal can be carried out, it will be very beneficial for the students, because the student coming from 4 different classes, they get together and then do only one project. And then this one particular project would be graded, and it will be delivered, and it will be the the grade for 4 different classes. But unfortunately, this could not happen. And the first reason for that is because of the large number of the students taking those 4 different courses. Like, for example, this semester, because Faculty of Cultural Sciences were given the task to do this one of these compulsory courses. It's called Bahasa Indonesia. And Bahasa Indonesia alone have 75 classes in all Universitas Gadjah Mada. So this semester, if we try to calculate that, like in general, we would consider that there are about 600 classes, and each classes consists about 50 students. How can we make a project with 600 students, do these assignments together, and then this assignment will be graded and will be considered as the grade of those 4 different classes. We tried, as a lecturer, we have already made some meetings and plans, but it didn't work very well because of this big group that we have already. Now, there is also some curriculum policy that, to me, this is a good step actually, but probably the student and as well as the lecturer, some of the lecturer probably needs to understand this more deeper. Now, the university has this policy that each of the students should take elective courses outside the study program or outside the faculty. I think this meant good. I mean, one of the aim is that for the students to interact with other students coming from different study program and also different faculty. But the thing is, while it is successful for some classes, but also there are also some hindrance. Like for example, if some student from Sekolah Vokasi would like to take some classes in Faculty of Cultural Sciences, there's a big administrations needs to be done. Yeah. So we have to write the letter, the vice dean usually write the letter saying that, hey, Bu Sakti, my student is going to take some of your classes in your university. So this sometimes takes time and it's not very effective. Why? Because our system in semester, it hasn't given us the liberty, like to change all of this subject, just to choose the subject where the subject that you want to take and which the subject that you think will be beneficial for your final project, things like that. So there is still some difficulty in the system. So the manual letter still needs to be written and sent. Now the second, another thing is the MOOC or online classes. This can also be a challenge because the teacher were actually forced to make as many MOOC as possible, as many online classes as possible. This somehow, I agree with the previous speaker saying that there is nothing that can change teachers actually, and I agree with that. Although in MOOC there are some positive things that come up from those classes, but I still consider that this is another challenge for the intercultural communication skills. Now, this is the challenges from the discussion and also the strategies. We can see that the resistance from stakeholders are there. For the students, probably they don't really care. They would understand how many credits I have to take. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, if I need to finish it, then that's fine. But probably from the lecturer, because with the new introduced subject, probably we will think about the RPM, RPKPS, and then how to assess this intercultural communications and things like that. And then the second challenges would be the curriculum overload, because right now we understand that the undergraduate students have to take like 144 credits minimum. And right now there are already like 25 to 30 credits that has to be taken by the student, and it's alone, will impact, will give impact to the study program because their credit will be deducted because of this curriculum overload. And then apart from that, there is also the measurement of intercultural competence, if we are about to introduce this, because there is this academic administrations that we have to finish about SIOBA, Simoni. Probably this is familiar with the students from our fellow teachers from UTM. Every time we finish our semester, then we need to do some assessment that sometimes, like occupied most of our time here. Digital learning, like I have already told you before, is also another challenge. Now, how is the strategy? If big classes is not possible, let's try with something that is simple for the beginning. First is probably pilot programs and also workshop, not yet a class probably. And also we can integrate the intercultural communication skills integrated into the general courses, like what we have this as a hidden curriculum. And also sometimes we can use the blended learning and experimental activity, not yet as a course on its own, but somehow we try to blend with the courses that is already there. So these are the proposed framework that I would like to share with you today, and also probably from UTM experience, we can have some discussions and probably can give us also some insights about this one. Because we lack of instructions on intercultural communication, I think this is the first thing that we can do, probably, giving the formal instruction on intercultural awareness and also communication. The second is intercultural communications training or workshop. This is both for the teachers, later on become the training, or probably the teacher in classes, as well as senior students that later on can be probably the tutor for intercultural communication skills. And then the third one is propose the integrated curriculum. This, of course, needs time because we understand that there are already many changes proposed with the rules and regulations that has been accepted in Universitas Gadjah Mada, but this is not something that is impossible to do, so we can still do it, I guess. So I think I should end my sharing with you this afternoon with this proposed framework. I have some end notes here, but probably things that you can read at the program. And these are the references that I use to prepare this PPT for you to share. Thank you very much. And can I end with one intercultural communication skills, because we come from many different backgrounds, at least Indonesia and also Malaysia. I will end my presentations with pantun, boleh ya? And usually in Indonesia, the person who will give the pantun will get some help from the audience by saying at the first and also second line. Let's try this. Datang jauh dari Malaysia ke Yogyakarta. Jangan lupa beli salak dan bakpia. Bergandeng tangan kita eratkan kerjasama, bersama IRoLe kita berjaya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sakti, for your insightful and thought-provoking keynote. I wish I could balas your pantun, but I cannot. Unless any of my colleagues here, anyone who would like to balas the pantun? Maybe you can think about it at the end of this session. Before we end, come up to the stage and give us the pantun. All right, Dr. Sakti, your presentation has illuminated the crucial role of intercultural communication in higher education. And you talk about the challenges faced by UGM, and you also gave us some strategies, and also you talk about some proposed frameworks. It's good to know that, first of all, I was quite amazed to hear that the amount of students you have from multicultural backgrounds and how you handle them. It's really amazing. In short, it has given us valuable perspectives on how to prepare our students to thrive in a diverse and global society. We want to train them to be global citizens. Okay, now we have some time for questions and discussion. So before I invite members of the audience to share their questions, you can either raise your hands or post them in the chat. I will moderate this session so that Dr. Noor can address as many of your thoughts and queries as possible. But we have a member of the floor. I do have one question. Do you mind? Okay, I'd like to go first. Okay, can anyone pass the mic over?
Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. So first of all, I am very amazed. I'm very...
Could you repeat that question, please?
Okay. So thank you so much for giving this time for question. So first of all, my name is Erizal Lukman. And thank you so much for the wonderful presentation, which is very insightful. And also, I'm very grateful that I could listen for your presentation because I did my PhD about intercultural competence as well. So basically, my study is about to investigate how the Indonesian students develop their intercultural competence in the British universities. First thing that I wonder, Buningrum keep mention about Byram and Bennett's theories about intercultural competence. Why do you choose those scholars? I mean, there is more update scholars. For example, if you look at Dierdorf, and also there is more update theories of intercultural competence proposed by the Organization Economic Cultural Development. So basically, they propose more update theories in 2018. So I mean, this is probably just give some insightful, and I hope as to develop our lovely university. That's my first question. I mean, yeah. My second question is, you keep asking how we could, make the student to be more intercultural communication. I absolutely agree that one of the skill that need to have for the student is to have good intercultural communication to finish their degree. But also, if they graduate, I mean, if they can get an international job or if they can pursue their study abroad, those skills will be benefit for them as well to, to create intercultural communication more harmonious. So my question, you keep asking how can we integrate the intercultural communication competence skill. Did you have any, or do you have any plan, or have you conduct empiric research that, you know, like focus on how can, or what do they need actually to develop their intercultural competence? So basically, if you did empiric research, so you can have more ideas how can we integrate to curriculum. So my question is, do you have any empiric research before you starting your ideas about that? So once again, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the questions, Mas Erizal. All right, the first one, I would not consider that as a questions, probably as suggestions. Yes, I will do. I will try to find newer sources for that. This is also because of my lack of knowledge on intercultural communication. This is the book that I've been using when I have some workshop on intercultural communications. So this is the book that actually given by the expert in intercultural communications for us to study. So I think, yes, I do need to update the references that I will use. Thank you so much for that. And probably, when are you finish your PhD?
I complete my PhD by 2020.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that means...
basically, I'm very grateful that I can listen to your presentation today, which very relevant to what I studied in my PhD.
And
Thank
I
you.
believe you haven't got the chance to share the finding of your dissertations to some of us, probably, at least probably not to the Faculty of Cultural Sciences. So probably, you know, online, offline, later on we can invite you and then have some talk with the senior and also junior lecturer to enhance our understanding on intercultural communications. I hope it's okay with you, yeah? All right. And then the second question, this is a question. No, I haven't. So this is like I have already told you before, this is not based on the theory, but more like from the experience for me as the Vice Dean for the Academic and Students Affair from the experience. And I do understand that when I will propose that intercultural communication should be integrated in the curriculums and things like that, we need to do some very serious research before we propose with that kind of idea. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I hope that answers the question. Okay, we do have a question from an online audience. I think she would like to ask the question, or he or she, okay, would like to ask, that's on Zoom now.
Yes, hello.
Hi, good afternoon, Pak Heru.
Oh, good afternoon. Thanks for this opportunity. Madam Bli, Saktiningrum. Hello guys, my name is Heru Marwata from UGM. Madam Blue, Dr. Nur Saktiningrum, I believe in your experience as a Vice Dean. So I want to know, how do intercultural communication skill enhance collaborative learning and problem solving among students? Just like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the questions, Pak Heru. Pak Heru is one of the teacher who taught the course Bahasa Indonesia as part of the courses for the curriculum. And he have to taught like students from many different faculty in Universitas Gadjah Mada. So when these questions were asked, actually he was underlining the importance of the intercultural communications within the setting of the class. So I would say that with the knowledge on intercultural communication skills, the student can appreciate other students more. You know, when we try to put students into a group work, for example, some of them have a very fast speed in speaking, for example, while others need more time to actually digest what is the questions, what I'm going to answer, and things like that. But if they don't have this intercultural communications, they don't know or they do not appreciate others who have, like probably slower speed in speaking compared to them, then they would not be too patient, so he or she will just, okay, you take too much time, and then they can go on with the discussion. That sometimes it happens. So basically, that is one of the reasons why intercultural communications are necessary for the students to understand and master, to be able to be a good and successful learners. Probably those are the things that I can answer, Pak Heru. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Dr. Sakti. And I'm very sorry to the members of the floor. I'm not able to allow any more questions due to the time. We're running out of time. So anyway, if you have any questions, you may ask. You may ask Dr. Sakti or T. Right? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Sakti. All right. She has also reminded us the importance of ICC and so on. So, as we conclude this session, let us take inspiration from her message and continue working together to make our classrooms, our institutions, places where diversity is embraced and intercultural understanding is actively cultivated. With that, we officially close this keynote session. Please join me once again to thank Dr. Sakti for sharing her expertise and wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Saktiningrum, for that engaging and insightful session. And thank you as well for Dr. Kuldeep for skillfully moderating the session.
To express our gratitude, we would now like to invite Dr. Kuldeep to present a token of appreciation to Dr. Nur Saktiningrum.
Please give them one more round of applause.
Thank you to our distinguished speaker and moderators. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with our two parallel sessions for today, with a coffee break in between them. All participants are kindly asked to move to their assigned rooms based on the given schedule. We also would like to remind you to submit your PowerPoint presentation through the given QR link. We look forward to seeing you in the TILC Ballroom at 4:30 p.m. for the closing ceremony of IRoLe 2025. Thank you very much.